Peace.
Peace, God. Yeah, so stay there, God. Hey, God. Just aim that at us. Just aim that at us. It's a wrap, because it's video. So we got a whole bunch of, we got 24 pictures every second. So that's 24 pictures every second. Peace. And we can talk, so you can get
It's interesting that we're developing on our word interorientation. That's a science that I've been, going on myself, looking into that word, interorientation. It's science like that. You can't really find it in the dictionary or the modern dictionary. That's one word, right. So, but it does exist. Like,
it does exist.
Like old
dictionaries.
Old dictionary.
1930s, I found it myself.
Right. Now, interorientation deals with signs of persuasion, negotiation. Right. You know what I'm saying? So, like John Hawkins, like, he was coming into the shores of West Africa dealing with persuasion.
But it also deals with, not revealing the truth.
Right.
Because it's inter means not.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. So you're not orienting. You're not giving them the truth.
Manipulation?
Indeed.
It's a manipulation. It's a form of manipulation. Right? So persuasion through manipulation. See what I'm saying? So
when I got knowledge in supreme mathematics, I got qualifiable and quantifiable fact instead of qualitative and quantitative, because we'll find qualitative and quantitative in the dictionary now. But to your point of looking at these older terms to find out what their meaning is, I realized that's what it was.
The only way to catch a germ is to be on the same vibrational frequency as a germ. So those brothers and sisters that got on that ship, John Hardy Hawkins, the only way to catch a germ, you have to be on the same vibrational frequency as a germ.
So if you want more than you really are willing to earn, you know what I mean? You fall for the trick. You know what I mean? If you ask the universe for more than you're willing to give, right? You get curses in the mail instead of blessings. So if you ask for what you're willing to give, that means that you're a giver. So now, since the universe is balanced, if you give, then the universe is going to do what? Going to return it. Going to return the justice. You're going to get good. But if you're a taker, right, then the universe is balanced. So at the end, after you take, there's going to be a bill in the mail. And when it comes, you're not going to want to pay. It's going to be more than you could pay.
Yo, I was reading an interesting story the other day, and I'm trying to recall the names. There was an original woman. She was a slave, and she got some money and basically brought her freedom. And then she actually brought two other people as slaves. Two other original people came. She brought them as slaves. She was basically trying to start a business. One of the slaves she brought was two males. She looked at him. She said, "This guy's gonna be good. This is a true story." He was working hard, chopping the wood, doing everything industrious. The other one wouldn't do nothing. He's sitting his ass wouldn't do nothing. Come to find out, the brother that wouldn't do no work, he was captured. He was actually Muslim. He got captured, and he was a prince, where he came from. And that was the reason why he wouldn't do any work. He wasn't accepting the germ.
Because you don't know, right?
He was like, "Yo, this is not where I'm from." He said, "I got captured, so I didn't want to come here to begin with." And he was really kind of rebellious and, basically just wasn't taking up from nobody. He just had that attitude, no matter if you was colored or you was original. He was like, "F y'all." So it just goes back to that story, as far as how a lot of us was fooled by the traders. Some of us just got captured. You know what I mean? They knew who they was and they got captured and got caught up still. And but she wound up marrying him in this story. Oh, I remember where the story came from. Due to knowledge, this is Benjamin Banneker's ancestors. It was either his grandfather or his father. That's what I was reading the story. I was reading the story about Benjamin Banneker because I'm preparing some lessons to teach some of the students here in DC. So I figured the way I would gravitate them is to talk about Benjamin Banneker, basically how he studied astronomy, designed DC.
That's how we got alleys in DC from Benjamin Banneker.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. So the story I'm telling you.
Alleys. How DC is structured. With the alleys as Benjamin Banneker's. That's his idea.
The other thing that's significant about that story too was when they was looking at when they was looking at Benjamin Banneker's almanac, how he did the almanac, right? And they were like, he was more advanced than a lot of the colored people at this time, right? And they didn't want to acknowledge it too much because they would throw the whole thing over as far as how they need to keep black people oppressed, or in slavery and things like that. So the founding fathers didn't really want to give a lot of too much acknowledgement and too much light to him. But the thing about it was they were trying to figure out, how did he get so much knowledge on knowing about the stars and astronomy? Because he lined out DC according to the stars and things like that. And it was like because his forefather came from Mali, and they think he was part of the Dogon tribe, which is the other part of the story where I was reading that was interesting.
How was his childhood?
Well, he was hearing stories from his father about
In his childhood.
In his childhood as a star.
That's what I'm saying about the subconscious mind and how things are, how we program.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? From the last trimester in the old earth womb and the stomach, so forth and so on, to the age of 7, the brain is operating on theta. So we just like dealing with imagination and creativity. This is not pots and pan, they drums. What you mean? You want to cook? I'm on my drums.
Right.
Nah, I want those pots, man, so we can eat.
Right.
So, that type of situation. And so what I'm saying, basically the program comes from then. So how is the childhood? A lot of us now, because of the childhood, you know what I'm saying? Certain things we think about, how you raise your son. And then that's why we talking about reprogram. Because at one time, all I knew was 85% stuff. When I got knowledge of self, I had to reprogram my mind. And I'm still doing that to today as an adult.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? With the maturity.
Right.
I got knowledge of self at 17. 17 plus 17, that's the balance. And I'm still going on. You know what I'm saying? I have to understand the culture.
Add on to the Benjamin Banneker history, the original designer of Washington, D.C. was a guy named E.L. Funk, who was working with George Washington. And they wound up beefing and getting over whatever argument over the plans or whatever. So
Was he original man? He was original man?
No.
Crazy. Okay.
Yeah. He packed up his stuff and rolled out, went back to, what country was he from? France. Paris, yeah.
Okay.
France. So, and there's a subway station for those that live in the area, in the Farm Plaza. And there's a little plaza there, there's a mall that's named after him. But anyway, so after he left, Benjamin Banneker finished the designs for the city. They say he had a photographic memory and all this stuff or whatever, but the original man, once again, saves the day.
Right.
And there's a lot of signs like with the monument and all the Masonic inspirations that went into the designing of the city and the capital.
Right.
And there's a brother, Anthony Browder, for those who are familiar with his books and his works. He has a tour called, he still does it, Egypt on the Potomac tour.
Is that Browder Files?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he wrote the Browder Files, right, exactly. And he does like a tour DC, like everybody else, all these little tour buses, whatever. But it's from a conscious and historical perspective, showing you the parallels between Egypt, like the name is Egypt on the Potomac. So, that's something that's good for the babies too. To look into.
I drew that up looking at the born degree in the 114 that way too. Why does the devil make why does Muhammad make the devil study from 35 to 50 years before he calls himself a Muslim son, right? So that goes back to, again, the layouts of DC, how the the color man pretty much was basically trying to imitate the original man when they was laying out DC, because why did they build the Washington Monument and have the obelisk and make it, or as we call it in Kemet, the original people call it a Tekken. And why did they build a Tekken, right? And when they were building it, the British had already taken the Tekken out of Egypt. The French had already taken the Tekken out and they had one in their city. The Romans took one out and they had one in the Vatican city, so they wanted one here too. You know what I mean? So that's one thing right there. But then also, like you're saying, you look at a lot of the architecture, it's similar to after what we got back in Egypt too. So pretty much the Muslim sons was studying, and trying to be like the original man, right? They studied for 35, 50 years trying to be like the original man, right? So they could come amongst us. So that's how I looked at that too. Yeah.
You must do your own research, as I did.
If Mecca did this.